Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 13 of Keeping It Loose. Today I'm joined by my co-host, Bryson Baby Blue Lewis over there, and Oliver O Mamba Shawa. Fellas, how are we doing today? Big day.
Big day is right, man. I'm doing great over here. Haven't had an opportunity to fill in a bracket per se. Like everything else in my life, I'm gonna leave that to the last minute here. But snow is melting here in Chicago. I'm really excited to get out and swing some sticks and enjoy some 11 a.m. tip-offs here for the next few weeks.
I'm right there with you. And, that taste of it yesterday on Tuesday, incredible. And I think that's just a flavor of what we've yet to see. I'm anxious, excited, nervous, over the moon. So let's take it away.
Yeah, I mean, guys, it's the biggest next 4 weeks of it's really for the rest of our lives here. We've got March Madness followed up by the Masters. I'm really looking forward to the next few episodes of Keeping It Loose. I want to dive right in, fellas. We are going to look at the whole bracket, and it's nice that Bryson has not filled one out yet. I personally have filled out 3. We're going to go into each region and discuss who we think's coming out of that region, biggest upsets. We're going to go the whole 9 yards. You got 3 guys that have watched more film than probably any 3 guys in the Midwest, along with Remo Sriracha, a.k.a. Reno, Nevada. So wealth of knowledge here, guys. We're also going to be doing a new segment called the Oppo Taco Pick of the Week. So we will be choosing our most confident pick of the entire week, and we will be fading that pick from now on. Just a little exercise, little experiment. We're going to try to do here at Keeping It Loose moving forward. Fun stuff to talk about. And we're going to finish off with who we think is going to win the tournament. So, fellas, without further ado, I'm going to dive right into what I think is the most challenging, hardest, craziest draw of a region in my entire NCAA college basketball career, being the East region. The East region is headed up by none other than the Duke Blue Devils, UConn, the Johnnies, UCLA, Kansas. I mean, guys, it is nuts. I don't know how somebody lets something like this happen, but I'd love to hear, whoever wants to kick it off, Bryson, Oliver, somebody kick it off. What are you guys seeing in this region? I mean, this is bananas.
Well, I think I should
Yeah.
kick it off because I'm a diehard
Please.
Giants fan. And the Big East got served a big, pile of shit this year is what I should say by the committee. When you look at the 2 best teams in a conference, and one of them being, 2-time national champions, the other one being headed by, Hall of Fame coach Rick Pitino, who's taken 10 teams to the Final Four, and you put them in the same division, what does that mean? What does that mean for the entire rest of the divisions? Do they just have it easier? Because honestly, this is the only division that I'm really interested in. Obviously, why don't we just throw Arizona in there or Michigan? We should do that too while we're at it. I'm just saying it's ridiculous. I'm saying it's ridiculous, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Of course, I've got full faith in the Johnnies. I've got them going to the chip. I've got them taking the chip. I think you get past Duke, you get past anyone, and I think there's no way they can't. So if we want to get into discussion around that, I'm more than happy to, but you see some great matchups here. You see some injured teams. It'll be exciting. It'll be really exciting, but there is one underdog I want to mention in this division. And it's a team that, we've been on since the beginning of the season. It's our Baptist boys. It's our Baptist boys, and you look at what Dominique Daniels does. I mean, the guy's got the ball on a yo-yo string. It is nothing like you've ever seen. Junior, that's right. And I think that, to me, is probably going to be my biggest upset of that division, is going to be Cal Baptist taking Kansas. Who knows what form of Kansas comes out? I know what form of Cal Baptist is coming out. That's what I got to say.
Okay.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I think, I frankly love the draw that your Johnnies pulled here. I think they're just going to beat the absolute brakes off of Northern Iowa here and into potentially an upset here, a 13 seed to get to the next weekend. But being on that same side as Duke, who is a 1 seed that's shown quite a few different, scars here as of late. I would say that they're potentially limping in to the round of 64 here, losing a few starters, a couple of matchups in the ACC tournament there that were a little too close for comfort. So I could absolutely see the Red Storm, White Boy Rick, White Suit Rick coming in there
Mhm.
and turning it into his own dog and pony show, no doubt.
Yeah. No, Chew, I think personally who comes out of this region over here is going to win the whole darn thing. Hoping it's the Johnnies, but unfortunately they put teams like Ohio State in here as well, who I think's a dark horse. UCLA playing some serious ball down the stretch. UConn back-to-back freaking national champ. I
Two
mean,
injuries on UCLA. 2 injuries on UCLA. Donovan
okay.
Bent
So
with
call out
Villanova.
early.
Yeah.
Okay, call out early. Um,
Mhm.
Baptist is plus 14.5 versus Kansas, Chew. Are you taking them just 14.5, or will you sprinkle a little bit on that on the money line?
It's just tempting. It's so tempting, and I'm gonna have to sprinkle. I'm gonna have to sprinkle just for the boys. There's been a
Okay.
couple times I've missed bets on the Baptist boys, and I've regretted it. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna have to sprinkle. There's no doubt about it.
No
Okay. So
regrets. Yeah.
so always got the Johnnies coming out of the East with the upset of the region being the Cal Baptist boys.
Sure.
Let's do that. Lubu, what are you seeing?
You know what? To be quite honest with you, when I look at this thing, I'm seeing a lot of chalk. I'm seeing quite a bit of chalk here from the East because of, frankly, the quality of those lower seeds. I thought the lower seeds were very interestingly seeded this year. Some that I didn't particularly agree with.
Mhm.
UMBC as a 16 seed, Lehigh as a 16 seed. But that's a bit of a tangent in itself, right? In terms of what I see in the East, like I said, I love the St. Johnny's. I love their path. I could see Sparty, Michigan State getting a real opportunity here to dive deep into that space as well, which is a bummer
Crazy.
because I don't really enjoy watching that brand of basketball.
Crazy. Yeah.
But in terms of UCLA, I could easily see them getting sent packing week 1 here quite easily here. I think UCF is a really tough draw as a 10 seed there. And talk about another team that, despite their performance health-wise, like you said, Shawa, is limping in here a little bit. Obviously, UConn and Dan Hurley are going to be there. They're definitely not losing to Furman. They're definitely not losing to UCF or UCLA. So who comes out of that little quadrant there between Michigan State, Louisville, and I think a really exciting dark horse there in South Florida is going to be telling as to kind of how that thing rounds out there. But that's would probably be my upset pick since I do see quite a bit of chalk over there. 7-10 isn't really much of an upset. I would say South Florida, look out for the Bulls. Look out for the
Yeah.
Bulls, especially if they can come out shooting hot. I think that Louisville is probably a pretty darn good matchup for them, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I agree, Bryce, and I think that's an awesome analysis on the whole situation, especially given Mikkel Brown he's out for the first round.
Who's
He's
he
probably
out
gonna
for good?
he's out with a back injury as of this morning with Louisville. So if you're a part of my Wolfpack winners group chat where I send unsolicited winners nonstop to. I actually told my young men to get on the Bulls today, +5. I said, get buy a half point, get
It's
on
a
the
fact.
Bulls, because as you guys know, I have been anti-Bull. I've been anti-Bull. I couldn't stand them any less. I've been
Mhm.
just fading just
That's some
them
unsavory things
nonstop.
about him, so
And you know what? I'm mature. I'm mature. I'm not going to sit here and get emotional about it that I've lost, 50, plus units on the Bulls over the last 7 days. Instead, I'm gonna make the adjustment. So Lewis, you're taking the Bulls at +4.5, +5. You like that over there? And then who's coming out of the bracket? Who's that team coming out of the bracket for you?
You know what? I see a Red Storm Husky rematch
Oof.
in that Elite Eight side, and golly, it's quite a coin toss because those teams are so familiar with each other here. But I've got to give it to Dan Hurley and UConn. I'm so sorry, Shawa, but it's simply the fact that you guys won the last one, and you know how hard it is to beat a good team like that twice in a row.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I mean, just to kinda give you some credit here, they beat us by 30 the game before, right? And
Mhm.
that's just 2 hard-nosed teams that aren't stopping, and once they catch momentum against each other, it's just all blood from there. And, we did do it
Yeah.
at home twice. We lost on the road the other time. Hurley made that comment in his press conference and saying that, "Yeah, sure, Madison Square Garden, it's their home court even though it was the Big East tournament." So, we'll see. There's been some choice, remarks he's made about our Johnnies and how we're gonna be able to perform in the tournament, but, I think we unlocked a new gear. I'm excited if that is the rematch, and, may the best team win.
Yeah.
If anything, I mean, some unbelievable television to watch Dan Hurley and Rick Pitino on the sidelines for a few hours there. Stick a microphone in his face, stick a GoPro on his forehead, follow him around all day.
Yeah, 2 Hall of Fame coaches, undoubtedly. And, when I look at my first bracket I made, which I think is a just guaranteed winner of a bracket, I actually don't see what misses on this bracket. I do have the Johnnies and UConn facing each other, in that championship for that region to get to the Final Four, Lewis. So I'm seeing red over here. I'm seeing red for a multitude of reasons in this bracket. I'm seeing red because, quite frankly, I'm pissed off somebody let this happen. Um, to have to have UConn, Michigan State, the Johnnies, and Duke in the same region is just somebody needs to be fired. Now, with that being said, I got Ohio State going into Duke. I just want everybody to be careful there. The Buckeyes may be the team playing your Johnnies in the Sweet 16. And so I want everybody, I'm just going to put that out to the world. I did take Ohio State on a separate pick to win the whole thing. I think that's the kind of potential they have. I think we're talking 2018 Michigan 7 seed national championship contenders from Ohio State. If they get through Duke and shit, if they get through the Johnnies, they're going all the way. But
100%.
Big risk.
not seeing the red for Louisville, fellas. Couldn't really respect Louisville any less. I'm over them. I don't
Agreed.
really respect the ACC this year. I think the Bulls are going to come in and handle business. I think that's a click and win type of situation there. So I also like to see, like you, Lewis. I like to see South Florida. Ollie, the Baptist boys are our boys, so I got them in the bracket too. But I got the Johnnies coming out of the East region, fellas. So
I love it. And one more point before we wrap up to the point of disrespecting different conferences here. I mean, everyone says this was a slap in the face to the Big East. If it is a UConn St. John's rematch, that could be one of the best, tip of the hats to the Big East right there. Taking down some of
mhm.
the most
Oh
fierce
yeah,
teams that people have, put forth this bracket. So
It's a little bit of
agreed.
revenge. It's a little bit of revenge, and I think it makes for some theatrics. So, guys, excited about that. Let's move down to the South here. Florida headlines the South. We've got teams like UNC. We got teams like the Fighting Illini. Mi No, and
Yeah,
then we got
yeah.
Houston. We have the Cougs who
Mhm.
year in and year out just continue playing the best defense in the country. And so this one's, I think, a little bit more of a formidable region. I really don't think the Florida's line to get there is all that hard. I don't think Houston's is either. It's going to be up to the Illinois. It's going to be up to the Fighting Illini. So I mean, Lewis, honestly, I'm going to let you take this one from here and start off first.
Yeah, yeah. No, listen, I've been a huge Fighting Illini fan all my life. I've watched them um, play pretty darn good basketball over the past few years, very consistently, all the way up to the point of probably the second week of March or third week of March every single year, right? And
Uh-huh.
what they did against Wisconsin this previous week in the Big Ten tournament was just a little taste, just a little teaser for how they really like to go about their business here when it's do or die game on the line, survive and advance. So I think that I watched the Penn Yale basketball game. Absolutely hell of a basketball game. Two excellent, well coached, well built rosters and teams there. And I'll tell you what, I'm scared. I'm shaking in my boots about my Fighting Illini here. And in previous years, I would have been the most confident man ever, provided what
Uh-huh.
I watched over the past few weeks, or I mean, over the past few months. Um, but it's kind of the ipso facto, the Oppo taco that we were talking about there, right? I think
Okay.
they might be a false god.
Oppo
Um,
Taco alert, Chew? Is this Oppo Taco pick of
this
the
is
week alert?
this is absolutely an Oppo taco pick of the week here. Um, I think that Illinois might be laying about 20 to 25 points on that spread this week. I think it's a joke. I think it's absolutely laughable, especially provided A, how well Penn shoots the basketball, and B, the quality of defense that we're seeing from this Fighting Illini team here. Unfortunately, they were in their best form at least throughout the regular season when super senior 30-year-old point guard Kylan Boswell was hurt. He's returned, and as much as he should have fortified this team, and as much as I believe that he does fortify this team rotationally, situationally, in terms of the chess pieces on the board, it just hasn't shaken out that way. And I don't see it. I don't see that changing. At the drop of a hat. I would love to see it change, but I don't see it changing. Now, as for the rest of the region here, I would say in terms of the one seeds, I would give Florida the weakest one seed here, and they are. I do believe that a one seed will go down this year. Wee you, 16 seed alert. And I do think that it will be Florida if I had to pick a side there.
Wow.
Um, in terms of the abilities that Prairie Prairie View A&M
A&M. Yep.
provides, as well as the defense and the abilities that shot making ability that Lehigh provides. I could absolutely see one of those folks coming in revved up, ready to go, because the quality and consistency of those guards for Florida is really, really leaving a lot on the table there. So that'll be an interesting one. I agree. I think Clemson, Iowa, Fart Sound,
Yep.
whoever wins that I couldn't care less. North Carolina is a bummer as well. Just with Caleb Wilson out, I think that he is probably my top two pick in the NBA draft this year, and frankly, Seth Trimble and Henry Vesar have not picked up the slack as we had
No.
hoped on that side. Houston is really interesting here as well, man. I think that this is the best shooting Houston team that I've seen in the last few years for
The
sure.
Tugler, Chew. The
Um,
Tugs.
the Tugs, man. I mean, and
How good is that guy?
what that guy brings to the table as an X factor down there, really can't be understated, especially when you can surround him with some quality 3-point shooters and playmakers like Kingston Fleming, like Emmanuel Sharp, like Mercy Miller. Shout out Percy P, and a couple of other, really, really quality supporting cast members there, Chris Sinak Jr., that, have extremely, extremely strong offensive capabilities and
Mm-hmm.
scoring capabilities, especially in a one-on-one setting.
Yeah.
So I know that's quite a bit on the region there. I think in terms of who's
Lots to
going to
unpack.
emerge,
Yeah,
in
lots
terms
to
of who's
unpack.
going to emerge there, I think if Florida survives the first round, they've got an easy street, all the way down to Vanderbilt. But I would say that either Vanderbilt or Houston would be my pick to come out of the South.
Which one, Chew? I'm not here for either or type of shit here. Come on. Clean it up.
Give me the
Let's go.
Cougs. Give me
You
the
want
Cougs.
the Coug? That's what I thought. And there's a lot to unpack there. Just to our viewers here. Oppo Taco pick of the week alert. First Oppo Taco pick of the entire segment. Is that Penn money line? Is that Penn plus 25.5? What are you seeing on your Oppo Taco pick? Because you think there's no way the Fighting Illini can lose to this team, right? So you're
Yep.
taking the Penn boys. What are you taking them at, Chew?
I'm taking the points. I'm taking the points all day long. I think it's genuinely a foolproof, can't lose AI generated system pick.
Okay. No, I appreciate the feedback, Chew. That was a lot of bold takes. Prairie View A&M,
16 seed.
it's a lot there. So you're shooting for the moon, hoping that you might land amongst the stars, Chew. I get it. Ollie, I'd like to think that maybe you're a little bit more of a straight arrow on this region. Can you walk me through your process with the South?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of those points there. I think when you look at Florida as a 1 seed, it does appear that they've got an easy road in. You look at the Vanderbilt game that just happened where they got blown out by 20. No one expected it. I think Florida had been coasting a little bit early on in the season, or toward that last half. They played Kentucky twice in the span of a couple of weeks and just took it easy, got up 20, and then kind of let them back into the game to come into about 10 to 15 point differences there. And I did not really like the effort. Then they go and played a hard-nosed Vanderbilt, got shell rocked, and now they're in the same bracket. Now they're in the same division in this bracket. And I anticipate a rematch there. I absolutely anticipate a rematch there. I've seen the effort that the Nebraska boys put out. And when they're cold, they just don't have a lot of fight. It's not
Sure
a
do.
team that I was impressed with, even though they were undefeated for the longest time. I
Agreed.
think that they showed their true colors toward the tail end of the season, especially playing, teams like Purdue. And even though they did make a comeback on Purdue, that's a whole nother discussion about what I think of Purdue, right? Oh, they just knocked off Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't believe that for a second. Didn't believe it for a second. So, Florida
Fake news.
Vandy, I have them going at it. I've got the Illini and Houston going at it right underneath that in that same week. I don't see the Illini having any issues with UNC. I think it's going to be a tight VCU UNC matchup. I know you guys think that they're not going to make it past the first round, but um, I do like the team. I do like the team, and they've been grinding. I do like that Vasar can be a dual threat. I do like that you got Trimble that can take it to the bucket. So it's going to be competitive down there. I think one team that isn't getting a lot of respect, though, is St. Mary's. Dude, UNC,
Yeah, no.
UNC is UNC in its March, coming from the two biggest UNC
All
fans.
right.
You guys are just butthurt, dude. You guys are just butthurt about UNC.
I love the
I
Tar
didn't
Heels
make
year
any
in and year
further
out.
fart sounds,
Yeah,
officer.
I did. I made double fart sounds.
I did the one.
Anyways,
Chew,
but
so
what-
who's coming out of the region? Who's coming out of the region? Who's your upset here? It's a lot of good analysis. It makes sense.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's going to be Vanderbilt versus Houston. It's going to be a clash of the Titans. It's going to be a very physical game. It's going to require Vanderbilt to play their very best offense, which people have been skeptical of. But Houston, I will admit, what we saw against the BYU boys just last week didn't give me a lot of faith in their ability to extend the lead. Team like Vanderbilt, when they're playing defense, forcing turnovers, I'd be curious to know what happens. I think everyone would
Yeah.
be. We know what happened with Florida. We don't want to see it again. Was it an off shooting night? Yes. But I think Vandy takes it to him again. And I think they go up against Houston to see who's going to the Final Four.
And who is, Chew? Or are we just doing an either or like Lewis so that you have
I'm
two
just
picks
saying,
to have?
dude, do you need to ask? It's the Cougs, Joe. It's the Cougs.
Okay, it's the Cougs. All right, that's fair.
You're not
That's
getting
fair.
past
And
Houston.
then you kind of like your upset guy being Vandy taking down Florida in the Sweet 16 is kind of what I'm hearing there.
That's my quote unquote upset. But if we're talking Oppo tacos, mine is also in this region. And so sound the sirens.
Oppo Taco Pickler. Oppo
Wing!
Taco Pickler. Okay. Loose.
I think it's the Vandals, and that's not to that's not to beat Houston. I that's how I just could not ever see that. But
Okay.
one thing that I do think will be there's some interesting matchups there, right? There's some interesting matchups
Uh-huh.
there. There's 2 guards on Idaho, and I'm not remembering it's Colton something, and I forget the other guy, but he's quick to the bucket. It's like Brickner or something. It's Brickner. And,
Uh-huh.
good meaning
those
for a
2
hooper.
guys are really good
Yeah.
shot makers. Really, really good shot makers, and when they start getting hot, it's kind of incredible. They also have a freshman on the team who knows how to create space, and he can kinda serve as a dual threat, and then I did not even mention the big man down low who's massive. He's, like, over 7 feet, and he's got a bucket as well, so I don't
Okay.
know how that's gonna fare out, but it'll be a good game. I think people are, giving Idaho a lot of, not a lot of credit. We'll see how it plans out. I don't like them, but I think they'll cover the spread for sure.
Okay, so a lot to unpack there as well. We've got Houston Cougars coming out of that region for Omamba against Vanderbilt. Kind of an upset there against Florida. But your Oppo Taco pick of the week is you just think Houston's just gonna boat race the Vandals. And so for that reason, you will be taking the Vandals plus 23.5, Chew.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate it.
Okay.
I hate it.
Okay. Good. Well, it's it's a
I
new
couldn't
part of
agree
the
more.
segment. It's a new
I
experiment.
couldn't agree more.
It's gonna take some time. I agree with you, Chew. It's a great Oppo Taco pick. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. I have not matured like Baby Blue Lou has. I have been watching the Fighting Illini play basketball for the last 8 years of my life. I have watched them play phenomenally from November to March 14th for 8 years straight, and then absolutely poop their pants every single time they get to March. So
Thanks,
for
Brent.
that reason, I have the Fighting Illini coming out of that region. I have them beating the Florida Gators. I have them beating Houston on the way to the Florida Gators. I actually think a couple of these losses at the end for the Illini and how well they match up against defensive teams like Houston and like Florida, I actually think they could get away with it here. So short and sweet, fighting Illini is who I got coming out of that region. And then we go to the upset of the region, fellas. And I talked about the Tar Heels earlier. I'm going to be hammering the Rams. Hammering. I mean, I don't know how many stars and units that pick is going to be. I have watched the Tar Heels play enough basketball. I've watched enough. It's not even real basketball anymore. They look like they shouldn't even be in the tournament. And hey, this is coming from somebody that is a Tar Heels fan through and through every single year. So as much as I would have loved to see Caleb Wilson be here and I would have loved to take that team to go to the Final Four with him, I think they have an early exit here versus VCU. And you know what? I think the VCU Illinois game is going to be pretty sick. And I think after Illinois takes care of business there and the big men at VCU, they're going to be ready to go against Houston and Florida. So, quick and easy analysis from my point. I think you guys touched on every single other team in that bracket over there. So we're going to move on, fellas. Let's move on to the West. Okay. Going back up to the top right of the bracket, headlined by the Wildcats, by the Arizona Wildcats. And gosh, they're freaking awesome, man. I can't wait to get into them. They're
Yep.
great. They've been great. Arkansas coming off an SEC conference tournament win
Yep.
with, probably I mean, Acuff Jr. is Darius Acuff Jr. is one of the sickest. Like he reminds me kind of Carson Edwards a little bit. It reminds me a little bit of a bigger Carson Edwards coming into March.
1,000 times better.
So, and then we've got Purdue in the bottom. God, what great basketball they've been playing to win the Big Ten championship. BYU, Wisconsin, Oliver. What's happening in the West, Chew? What's going on here?
I think the West has actually a lot of hidden upsets in it, frankly. I think a lot of people don't realize how close this is going to be. Yeah, you're going to have your people blow by, right? You're going to have your Arkansas, you're going to have your Arizona, you're going to have your Purdue, but everything else is a little bit dicey there as you just look at it from a one-side glance. And I'm not even going to let Gonzaga off the hook frankly, seeing what Kennesaw State did. I mean, those guys have a bucket,
Mhm.
and I don't know exactly how it's all going to shake out, but I do have Arizona winning, of course. I think Arizona
Okay.
is one of the most sound teams in the entire, NCAA tournament here. I
Yeah.
think that's the best that they've looked in years, even when they had Caleb Love, which was the highly coveted recruit of last year that did them no justice. I love Caleb Love. What the hell, man? What happened? But go down to the Miami game, the team that's been
Former
skating.
Tar Heel, Chew. Former
Yeah.
Tar Heel.
Got the
I
Tar Heel
know.
tattoo too on his ass.
I know. Well, I just want to highlight one of the upsets that I see here pretty clearly. That I don't think people are giving enough respect to. I think Miami's been skating free, not paying tolls all year. And I think Missouri is one of the most hard-nosed teams out there. And you get them into a tournament setting, and you see what kind of coaching staff that they have. They have a lot of experience there and a lot of just raw
They
talent.
do.
You
Yeah.
get a Miami team that's kind of on their heels already coming into this thing, and I really like Mizzou to take that one. So that'll be my big upset for the
Love it.
for that side.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see how Utah State fares against Nova. I think that'll teach us a lot as well. Um, Nova's obviously had a tough end of their season, but the Big East is the Big East. So was the Mountain
True.
West
Mhm.
as bad as everyone
Coin
thought it
flip.
was, or was the Big East worse? You know,
Yeah.
we'll figure
True.
that out.
We should.
Bryson,
No, I'm gonna flip
thoughts?
it. I'm gonna flip it back on you, Chew. I'm
You
gonna
want
flip it back on you.
Yeah,
I want
this
to. I want to hear some analysis from you here because there's quite a few line by line, very interesting games on this side, and the people want to know.
Well,
Mhm.
first of all, Chew, I was made for this region. I just want to point out new haircut today,
Mhm.
specifically for the podcast because I wanted to be clean, and this is where I think I'm going to have my cleanest region of the entire bracket. I'm seeing this one well. There might be an Oppo Taco alert in here as well. Okay, so I'll get there. First, I'm going to start off with Arizona's going to the national championship.
Yeah.
They're one of my 4 teams I have winning the national championship. They will
Yep.
win this region. The only problem that they have is the Arkansas boys. I hate they have to play them somewhat early. I think that's
Yeah.
their toughest matchup. If Purdue even makes it over there, get hosed, man. Like
Big
Purdue,
time.
great run in the Big Ten championship, but you guys have been dog shit ass for the last 2 months.
Big
I don't
time.
believe Purdue whatsoever. I don't believe in Gonzaga. I don't believe in BYU. So Arizona's taking this thing no problem in my head. I think Arkansas is the only thing that's going to get in between that. Um, Oppo Taco alert, fellas. Keep it loose.
Ooh.
Keep it loose. Oppo Taco alert. I mean, you saw it on episode number 12, Chew. Who did I choose to win the Mountain West? Oliver, can you remind me who I chose to
I
win the
don't
Mountain West
even
Conference
want to
tournament?
remind you. I don't want to go relive that. Utah State. Yep, you went right down the
Okay.
middle.
So thank you. So Utah State. I mean, Chew, they're the only Mountain West team to get in, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
How good did the Mountain West do in the tournament last year?
Pretty damn good.
Pretty freaking good, right? So I'm
And I
sitting
think
here,
Utah State did
I've
the worst of all of them.
and I'm sitting here, and I mean Utah State has been dominating all year. That wasn't even a close conference. That's not easy to do, to just blow out the conference like that all year and then do it again in the conference tournament. That's not easy at all. And Villanova, Chew, we saw it firsthand. We were in Madison Square Garden per your background. We were in there, white out, patina, white out, white
Mhm,
suit. We
mhm.
watched them dog walk Villanova all game long in Madison Square Garden, and Villanova has looked like just poop, dude. I mean, really the last month. I don't see any way how Utah State does not win this game. Therefore, my Oppo Taco pick will be Villanova money line, Chew.
Wow.
So Oppo Taco alert, it's Utah State
I love it.
flexed to the Nova boys.
I love it.
Bryson, I mean, come on. Let's talk.
No, I love it. I love it, Chew. I think that I completely agree with you on the top half of that region there. I think Arizona is one of the most well-rounded and athletic teams that they've put together here in a long time. They continue to impress me in a very deep, big Big 12 conference run here this year. I think what's going to be very interesting is that middle to bottom portion of that bracket there. I absolutely could not be more impressed with Arkansas and the form that they're in at the moment. I do think that, however, Hawaii is going to be a very interesting draw for those boys. Hawaii does a few things really well. They like to get out and run, which
The
which
Rainbow Warriors,
complements
too.
which
The Rainbow
complements the
Warriors.
the Razorbacks, and they also like to shoot the three ball, proficiently as well, which I think those two teams are a little more similar than people will be letting on. And Arkansas, typically when a team from was it the Big West? The Big West
The Big West.
um, goes up against an SEC team. Size is usually a huge factor, and I don't think it will be this year because of how we'll just say how Arkansas runs. I think they like Trevin Brazil at the 5. He can jump out of the gym, but in terms of imposing will down there, in terms of being a monster in that paint, he doesn't really have that. He likes to step out and shoot the 3. He likes to run and gun. So that'll be an interesting one. I think BYU Texas will be extremely interesting. We all see the form that BYU has since they left Richie Magoo Saunders on the sidelines there. Rest in peace. He was built and made for March, and it's a damn shame that him and AJ don't have an opportunity to rip it up here this year. And I agree with you, Shawa, on Missouri. I think that it's a really tough draw for Miami as a 7 seed, and Missouri as a 10 seed. It is a bit shocking to me. I know they've got 12 losses, but the quality of their wins, I think speak dividends. And what I love about that Missouri team is the size that they bring to the table there, man. With Mark
Yeah.
Mitchell at 4, he could easily, I would say, on 95% of the Division I basketball teams in the United States here, he would be their starting 5. But they've got Sean Phillips, who's an absolute beast down there. Somebody, like I said, that's gonna control and demand that paint, which gives Mark Mitchell the opportunity to really frolic around and do whatever he wants.
Yep.
They've got shooters. They've got guard stoppers in T.O. Barrett. It's a really, really well-rounded roster, and I think they will go as far as their three-point shooting will take them, because I don't really have any concerns about the defense or the rebounding across the board there, and could easily see them absolutely gobsmacking the fraudulent Purdue Boilermakers. God, I'll tell you what. You know what? I would love to see Mark Mitchell and Sean Phillips Jr. going up against Oscar Fluff and Trey Kaufman Wren, because I think that might be the softest, bummiest bottom line center court that you could possibly imagine from a 2 seed in this March Madness tournament. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, Lewis,
Very
not a
well
Purdue
said.
Boilermakers fan.
Very
Not
well
a
said.
Boilermakers fan. I agree. Guys, I think the Missouri Tigers have been playing awesome basketball. They've proven themselves. They've stayed in all the games. They look great. So Lewis, you have Arizona coming out of that with the Missouri Tigers, not only beating Miami, but going up against Purdue and kind of bending them over a barrel, Chew, for lack of a better
I
term.
do. I do. I think the toughest
Okay.
matchup for Missouri until they see Arizona will actually be first round against Miami, because I don't really see Gonzaga doing much of anything either. And that'll be my upset there as well. It's time to get into some of the the real low seeds here for some upsets. I think we've been playing it safe with a few 7-10s, with a few 6-11s. Kennesaw State outright against Gonzaga. Gonzaga does not shoot the ball well. Their best shooter is their center. Call me old
Oh
fashioned, but
no.
I think your center should be grabbing the rebounds, not shooting the bricks. So we'll see. We'll see how they fare. I don't know anything about Kennesaw State, but I do know that Gonzaga is once again not very good and not built for March.
Yeah, kind of like Zach Edey in Purdue and them going to the national championship. That was not a recipe for success. Anyways, going to the Midwest region here. Yeah, going to the Midwest region here, where the Chicago boys are at over in this side. this is another fun region. I think we can compare this to the East a little bit. We have the likes of Michigan, Iowa State, sick. Virginia, been hooping. Alabama, guy just got arrested for maybe couple pounds
He
of
didn't do it.
some
He did
Allegedly.
dopage,
not
some
do it.
having some
Allegedly.
fun, some toke, but he didn't do it. I'll be the first to say he did not do it, and he will be ready to go for March. Bryson,
By Friday? You think he's ready to go by Friday?
they're gonna release him and he's gonna be ready to go. He didn't do it, Chew. When you're innocent, the law works and justice system works in very mysterious ways, especially when the big dance starts on Thursday, Friday.
Yeah,
So
They do
listen.
have relationships with judges down there, Chew, so I might just say
He will have the best lawyers in Tuscaloosa, and he might be ankle monitor balling come Sweet 16 time.
I'm all
and
about
that
it.
is a storyline. That is the storyline right there. So Oliver, I want to start with you here.
Okay.
Because this is one of those things where I think this kind of region is a weak spot for you. I really do. And so
Calling you out, Mamba.
I'm interested to see what you do in this region. And I'd like to look back at it later on because I think this might be your weak spot, Chew. So let's take it away. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
You know, I know why you're saying it's a weak spot, and it's because I've been missing Texas Tech all year. Okay. And let's just call it what it is because I have not been a fan of Texas Tech the entire season, and they've done a pretty damn good job, and then they lose JT Toppin, and then they start to do actually a pretty damn good job. But then they go down and people are starting to question Texas Tech again. Oh, and now they've got Akron. I honestly have not been impressed with Akron covering the spread this year. They haven't been blowing teams out in their conference like they should be. They're not the 3-pointers, the 3-point snipers that they were last year.
Zip.
The Zips aren't going to zip
Zip.
this one
Zip
up.
a doo dan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Texas Tech is going to take down the Zippers. So, not worried about that. We're
Okay,
good
well, there's
there.
one game.
Yeah,
Guess we got one game out.
we're aligned on Texas Tech. I think Michigan speaks for itself. You've got Georgia versus St. Louis. Honestly, that is the game that I think most people are going to screw up because I'm going to coin toss that game right now. Georgia's
It
been a
is.
team that absolutely can hammer the three. They know how to play the game. They know how to, be consistent, but they also know how to do the quite opposite of that. That's the exact same team as St. Louis. I mean, if you look at St. Louis, do you remember their VCU matchup when they were down by like 25 points in the first half? Well,
Yep.
they made a run. They came back. It's incredible, but like I don't want to.
Wagered on it. Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to even think about that game. So may the best man win. That kind of reminds me of a different version of Nova versus Utah State. I will say good job on the selection committee there, making it difficult for everyone for the
That's the
8-9
guy.
spot. So going down the list here, we've got Alabama versus Hofstra. You guys convinced me if Holloway's on the court, I think those boys are enthused. I think that they've exacerbated the peripherals. I think that they know exactly what they need to do to start knocking down the
Chew.
three ball. I'm just saying. I'm just
Chew.
saying. Oh my gosh, because if they get hot and
Mark
nobody wants to
Bolton.
see,
You're
no one wants to
mm.
shit fire. So no one wants to see that. No one wants to see the Bama boys get hot. I do, personally. I think
I
Tennessee
do.
wins,
Okay. You've been
but let's
fading Bama a little bit this year, too. I'm just gonna say
I know,
you've given
hey,
me a couple wagers that were fading Bama, and we got rocked. It was never close.
I also took a minus 30 at one point, and that smacked, so I have no issues with Bama hitting a three ball. But let's just jump forward here. Of course, I'm gonna give you some credit here, Wolf. In one of our earlier episodes about college basketball to kick off the season, the most high-paid team that performed the worst, it's Kentucky. I think they're going up against a very sound Santa Clara team that does not make a lot of mistakes. They know how to spread the ball out. They know how to play down. They know how to play when they're ahead. That was a really, actually pretty good display of performance from them taking down St. Mary's, and did they beat Gonzaga as well this year? I mean, I was impressed with Santa Clara. They blew out everyone in their conference. So it's going to be them versus Iowa State. The matchup I'm most
Yeah.
excited for in this whole thing, though, is UVA versus Iowa State. And the reason I say that is because you've got two teams that know how to play really quick switching defense. They've got big guys down low and they can hit a three ball. That to me
Mhm.
spells who captures momentum. It's going to be something that knocks the wind out of you, and you're going to be just tired watching it. So I give it to Iowa State. They're incredible defensively. They know how to apply pressure, I would say more so than UVA. I don't think that UVA is the team that people want them to be, but it's good to see Virginia come back into the scene here. So I've got Iowa State versus Michigan. Iowa State takes it. Let's see in the Final Four.
Okay. Okay. So Iowa State's your winner out of that bracket, with
Yeah,
Santa Clara upsetting Kentucky. Okay.
correct.
Um, Lewis, let me take this one here, because I'm just gonna run the ball.
Please.
I am going to HB dive, HB dive, HB dive this whole region.
Standing.
Yeah, it's the 1-2. It's Michigan versus Iowa State at the end. They're unequivocally the best teams in this region. I think they are far and away the best teams in the region. I actually think those two teams are better than any 1-2 seed.
Yep.
And a lot of the other regions, I think only Arizona is the
Right.
only other team that I would put on. If you're looking at a 1, 2, 3 scale, I'm putting Arizona, I'm putting Michigan, and I'm putting Iowa State as my top three teams in all of college basketball right now. So
Yep.
I'm running the damn ball. Michigan, they look like an NBA team, guys, for a lot of this year. I think the loss at the end of the Big Ten was great for them. I think they're just going to steamroll, and their hardest game will be against Iowa State, in which I think they win. From an upset standpoint, I'm not going to even talk about an 8-9 St. Louis, Georgia. I mean, let's flip a coin. I don't. That's just going to be whatever. I Chew, you talked about an earlier podcast before the season's even starting, right? I think we were 5 games into the season starting, and I had Kentucky as the highest cost per win team,
Yep.
and that is held true. I mean, these guys suck, man. I mean, they suck.
They do.
And I think they've just been so it's very frustrating because I think that Kentucky has all this potential every single year and they continue just sucking.
I'm gonna
And
give
I
them
don't know what's
credit and say that I'm gonna give them credit and say they had a lot of injuries. I mean, that capital stack, a lot of it was sitting on the bench this year with broken shoulders and broken feet and hurt knees, dude. So that
Yep.
sucks.
Maybe you should take a little bit more creatine. Yep, take some more creatine, take care of your body. Excuses, excuses, excuses on Kentucky as they get every year. I have Santa Clara winning that game as well as my upset of the Midwest region. Baby Blue Lou, come on, dude.
Yeah, you know what? I think I didn't watch any Santa Clara this year outside of the tournaments there, but I agree with you guys. I like the brand of basketball that they brought. With that being said, I think Kentucky is going to beat the dog shit out of them. To be quite honest with you, I think Aberdeen, Chandler, those guards, they're just going to boat race those guards at Santa Clara here. They'll probably go for about 20 each, and I could see Kentucky with a 20-point victory there on that side of the bracket. I will also say that this is the region I think with some of the weakest high seeds outside of the 1 and 2.
Mhm.
I completely agree that the 1 and 2 are immensely strong in terms of Iowa State and Michigan, and I can't wait to see them play. I pray to God that they do get to play because I think they match up quite well with each other there. But in terms of Tennessee, in terms of Alabama, without Aiden Holloway, who really, quite frankly, does a lot of the dirty work for that team, so that LeBaron Philon can be who he is.
Seriously dirty work, Chew. He's a serious dirty
Absolutely,
worker. Yeah.
absolutely. No, chill, chill. Innocent until
Shadur.
proven guilty.
Perfect
Innocent
timing.
until proven
No,
guilty.
I agree. He
I'll
didn't do
see
it.
him in the Sweet 16.
He didn't
Uh,
do it.
Tennessee, one of my favorite fades of the season here. Oh, really? I mean, that is one of the most dog shit basketball teams that you could possibly put together. They've got a lot of size. Nate Ament and Jacoby Gillespie are, pretty good. That's about it. So
Yeah. Bum alert.
I could easily see whoever wins that 11 game taking down Tennessee in the first round there. And I think in terms of an upset here, this will be a new one as well. The Wright State boys,
Don't
the
you dare.
Dogs,
Don't
I
you
the
saw,
Dogs.
I saw it coming from a mile away. There's
Absolutely,
just Lewis couldn't respect
absolutely.
Virginia Cavaliers less.
You betcha. You
Mm-hmm.
betcha. You
Saw
betcha. I
that.
think Karl Marx or whoever that guy is down there at the stretch 4 spot, he's got a lot of game, but he doesn't really do anything too dominantly. And I think that if they can out rebound, if they can move him off the spot, and one of those guards has an off night, they could easily go down to Wright State in that first round there. So
Okay.
that's my upset. My upset is Wright State against UVA. That's 2 14/3 seeds, I think, back to back regionally there. And in terms of who's coming out of the region, I've gotta give it to the Michigan men, unfortunately, really, just because obviously the talent speaks for itself over there. I agree. They've got a bad taste in their mouth from the tournament. And if anybody knows what it takes to win in the NCAA tournament here, as far as these young hotshot coaches go, whoo, those Owls. Anybody remember those 8 seed Florida Atlantic Owls? Maybe even 9 seed?
Oh, yeah.
We're talking we're talking Jonte Davis.
Uh-huh.
You kidding
Yep.
me? You
Mm-hmm.
kidding me?
Junior. Junior.
Ragtag group of guys there that they
Mm-hmm.
took all the way down to Main Street to
Talk
Broadway.
that talk. Talk that
So I
talk,
think
Lou.
I think
Yeah.
that Michigan will absolutely be advancing out of here. And I think that we when we look back on it with outside of all the talent that that team has, we will be impressed with how well they were coached.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, and Lou, you said it was two in a. You're going to hit one of these 14 over threes, right? I mean, you got
Absolutely.
Wright
Absolutely.
State, you got Kennesaw State, and then your Oppo Taco pick of the week is also another 14 seed in the Penn Boys.
Really?
So
Take all the
you
14s.
might as well take the North Dakota State boys against Michigan State at this point, and just it's a 14 upset in the 3 for Baby Blue Lou in this year's bracket. And I think the cool thing about everything with this year's bracket is last year, I think, was one of the first years in a long, long time, maybe ever, where 4 number 1 seeds made it to the Final Four. I'd like to think that's not going to be the same this year, fellas. I think we're in for an awesome, awesome March. We're going to be doing this every few days here, fellas. We need our audience to stay tuned. We need them to stay locked in on it. I need to know right now, who is your number 1 winner to win March Madness? Oliver Shawa, take us away.
I'm staying true. I said it 5, 6 months ago. It's the St. John's Red Storm. I'm not changing. Rick Pitino's on his
Yep.
glory run. He's making a name for himself again. 3rd most winningest coach of all time. I have no problems with it. No problems with it at all.
Okay.
First 5 seed to do it. First 5 seed to do it.
Somebody fact check him. Lewis, who you're getting a call in?
Arizona Wildcats pick and win.
Okay, Arizona Wildcats, and that's it. You're just gonna cut it there.
Not going to be close.
Okay, Arizona Wildcats. For Baby Blue Lou, Omamba, the Johnnies. And all I gotta say, boys, is Zuby. Zuby booty, Zuby booty, 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 Zuby. Okay. And Mr. Patino will be winning this year's national championship, and they will be winning me $30,000 as well when they do it. So
Is it
we've
only
got 2
30K?
Johnnies. 2? Focus. We got 2 Johnnies. We got 1 Wildcats for our Baby Blue Lou over there. Guys, I can't wait to do this in a couple days. This is going to be an awesome Thursday, Friday. We have the first segment of the Oppo Taco pick of the week here with Penn plus 25.5. We got myself with the Utah State boys. And then Ollie, yours was
Idaho plus 23 and a
your
half.
Oh, yes, the Idaho Vandals, correct. So we got those 3 picks for our
Please
first
go.
segment of the Oppo Taco pick of the week. Stay tuned for episode 14 as we go into the weekend here, fellas. But gosh, I appreciated the heck out of that. That was a lot of fun. To the audience, thank you for listening. We look forward to coming back here soon. And thank you for turning into episode 13 of Keeping It Loose. We'll
Liz.
talk to you guys soon.
Peace.